Gambler the Whisper. Part 2 of 3. Our trips to the countryside lasted 3 or 4 days. And during that time, I would make up imaginary friends and have conversations with them sitting in my warm sleeping bag. The few that I can remember are Turtle the General, who banished bad dreams; Spider the Widow, who is not what she seems; Boulder the Strong, who eats all the beans; and finally, Gambler the Whisper, who had a head full of screams. All my friends were imaginary, and I created them all, except one. Gambler. He was the exception, he was just always there. I pictured the other ones, Turtle, Spider, and Boulder, all had physical bodies, and I still picture them in my mind. Turtle the General had thick, stout legs, ending in round stubs like the bottom of a log. The shell on his back was thin, dark green, and made up of layers so it looked like leaves stacked upon one another. His eyes were big, yellow, and almond-shaped, filled with kindness and intensity at the same time. He had a white wispy beard like some kind of Confucian scholar. Correspondingly, he always walked upright with arms crossed in front of him, dispensing wisdom and scolding wherever he saw fit to do so. He was the leader of my imaginary friends, and in hindsight, I think I modeled him after my grandfather. Whenever I had bad dreams, I would summon him for his wise advice and comforting presence. Spider the Widow looked like a spider centaur. Her upper body and head was that of a beautiful woman, with lightly brown skin, mysterious dark brown eyes, and long black hair that flowed like silk over her thin shoulders. At her waist, the body of the spider began bulbous and dark, with 8 thin legs ending in sharp points, pinning her to the ground. She was my mischievous friend. Whenever I needed to lie or be entertained, I would summon her. Her appearance would be the catalyst for a fun adventure or hilarious trick. One of our funniest pranks involved crushing up a bunch of crackers and sprinkling the powder inside my uncle's sleeping bags. They could barely sleep and continued to shake their bags all night long. She looked a little scary, but her heart was light and fun. Boulder the Strong was just a rock that stuck out of the foundation near my sleeping place. It had a rough surface, and I imagined face in the lines of the rock. I could pull Boulder out of his place in the foundation, and under his resting place was a tiny sinkhole. He was my stalwart companion. He never talked much, and when he did, it was always less than 2 sentences. I summoned him when I wanted to complain about something. He was a great listener and constant supporter. One of his best qualities was eating all the beans for me. I have always hated eating beans, but my grandmother cooked them all the time. So, to avoid being rude, I would dump the beans from dinner into the sinkhole under Boulder the Strong. Gambler the Whisper was only a voice. I talked to him the most because he often started the conversations first. He was unlike the others, who I could summon as needed. He was just always there. His oily voice would creep out of the hatch, slithering along the floor, and reach my ears without any invitation from me. The voice seemed like a smooth whisper, and he would often laugh maniacally at his own jokes. He would say things like, grasping fingers, soft and pink toes, I take them where everyone goes, and then laugh for a full minute, leaving me completely confused. However, he laughed so energetically, I laughed with him.